15 minutes past the hour of 9 on Your Women Radio 91.7. It's 15 minutes past the hour of 9, and this is Your Women Radio, WFM 91.7, Nigeria's only radio station for women and their families. Good evening, how are you feeling today? I hope you're doing well. Thank you very much for joining me this evening, Wednesday, the 5th of January, 2022. Happy New Year again. Happy New Year again. So I welcome you to Adult Conversations, where we share real life issues and discuss matters relating to the heart. Here on Adult Conversations, you give advice by contributing on the subject matter without judging. Adult Conversation runs on Women Radio every Monday through Thursday because we are here to break the culture of silence. So if you have a story you want us to bring to the family of Adult Conversations, please send your story along with your name and contact number. Send your story along with your name and contact number to 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. Tonight on Adult Conversations, I want to move on. I want to move on. My name is Titi, 36 and an accountant. My husband is 40 and a talent manager. I found a lady's underwear in my husband's car. I confronted him. I was really hurt. I'm pregnant with our second child, and I just want to move past this stage of hurt. I don't want a divorce. I don't want a divorce. So please advise me. TT is 36. She's an accountant. Her husband is 40 and he's a talent manager. Titi says she found a lady's underwear in her husband's car. She was really hurt and she confronted him. She says she's pregnant with their second child and she just wants to move past this stage of hurt that she feels right now. She doesn't want a divorce. So please advise Titi tonight. The number to call to advise Titi is 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. You can also send in a text message or a WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. And where you are in the world, you can also listen live from the stream link www.wfm917.com. www.wfm917.com. Now, please, when you call, ensure to turn down the volume of your radio so that we can hear you very clearly. Ensure that when you call in, you turn down completely the volume of your radio so that we can avoid any form of interference, any form of unnecessary feedback, and then we can hear you properly. Thank you very much. Also, when you call in, ensure that you keep your advice short, simple, and constructive. Remember to keep it short, simple, and constructive. This is important so that we can talk to as many people as possible. And it's important also because Titi needs to hear from many people as possible. So please keep your advice short, simple, and constructive. And ensure that you do not attack anybody else's opinion. Do not be attacking. Do not be unnecessarily condemning, and do not, under any circumstances, be judgmental. To join the group chat, send a message to the number 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537 via WhatsApp. Send a message to that number via WhatsApp with your name and contact number indicating interest in joining the group. Your name and contact number indicating interest in joining the group via WhatsApp to the number 0703 175 6537. As always, we're taking messages from the WhatsApp group. And our first message tonight is coming from Emmy Brown from Lagos. Emmy Brown says, "Hello, Titi. I know it's not going to be easy, but the truth is that you will still have to move past that stage because of the futures of the ones inside you and outside you. Complaining or nagging with such a man will never change him, but rather encourage his disability of being a true and genuine father. All I will ask is to just keep praying for him and pretend you feel nothing for his act. And that's from Emmy Brown from Lagos. Joseph King from Lagos is also saying, it's a very unfortunate situation, Titi. But please, there's more information needed on this issue. What did your husband say when you confronted him? Was he apologetic? Was he remorseful? What did he say? So, Titi, if you're listening, kindly answer these questions so that you can make the conversation easy for us to contribute on and for us to give you advice on. Again, the number to call to give advice is 07000 917 917. The phone line is open, so you can call in and contribute to give Titi some advice tonight. Again, 07000 917 917. You can also send in a text or a WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. We're live on Facebook and on YouTube. And what that means is, as the program is progressing right now as we speak, if you go on Facebook or YouTube on our designated handle at WFM917, you can watch live right now at WFM917 on Facebook and YouTube. Kindly also do well to follow us on all our social media. On across all social media platforms, our handle is at WFM917. Now, let's go straight into conversation. This story is one that is very dicey and one that actually hurts because it's a delicate story. Titi is carrying her second child right now, and she's in a very delicate place. So, certain questions that we need to get some answers to would be, how long have you been married? Titi, you say you're 36, your husband is 40, you're an accountant, he's a talent manager. How long have you been married for? How long have you been married for? How many children do you have? Okay, right now you say you're pregnant with your second child. All right, so you have one child and the second child on the way. How long have you been married for? And is this the first time that you are suspecting or that you have any evidence of your husband possibly cheating on you? Is this the first time that this is happening? Also, what did you say or what did he say when you confronted him? How did you confront him when you found out, and what did he say? This is in line with the question from Joseph King. It says, what did he say when you confronted him? Was he remorseful? Was he apologetic? Hello, good evening. Hello. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Please do well to call back when you can. The number to call is still 07000 917 917. Again, 07000 917 917. Now, it's important that we know certain facts about this story so that this can help with conversation and it can help, more importantly, with the advice being given by everyone listening. So, how long have you been married, Titi? And is this the first time that you're getting any evidence of your husband possibly cheating? Is this the first time? Then when you found out, when you found the lady's underwear in his car, when you confronted him, how did you confront him and what was his reaction? Hello, good evening. Hello. Hello, good evening. Are you there? All right, please call back if you can. Now, something I'd like to mention is if the phone line is developing challenges or the network has a problem or a challenge, please do well to send in a text or a WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. So if the phone lines are not cooperating, you can always do that. You can always send in a text or WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. So Titi is in a precarious situation right now, or she's in a delicate, that's the right word. She's in a delicate situation because we d- we don't know how far along she is with the baby that she's carrying right now, and pregnant women are actually very one of the people that deserve to be pampered the most. So Titi, as I said earlier, is in a delicate situation right now. Hello, good evening. Hello, hello, good evening.
Your call has been transferred.
All right, please call back if you can. So the conversation is still going on. You can call in and you can send in a text or WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. Titi is currently pregnant with her second child and she wants to move past this stage. Her sole aim of sending in her story to adult conversations is for advice on how to move past this. She's not even talking about whatever, she's not talking about divorce because she clearly says she doesn't want a divorce. That's why I asked how long have you been married for? But Titi doesn't care about that right now. Her most important priority right now would be to move past this stage of hurt that she's feeling. She doesn't say if her husband acknowledged what happened with the lady's underwear that was found in his car. She doesn't say what his reaction was, and it would be really nice to know so that we can know if this is something that can be worked on, if this is something that can't be worked on, but something that needs to be moved past. So Titi wants to move past this. She doesn't want to dwell in this stage forever, and she wants to just get. She wants to still retain her marriage. She wants to retain her marriage because she clearly says, "I don't want a divorce." Now, these happen from time to time in marriages. These happen from time to time. There are situations where husbands cheat and these kind of things happen. And the reaction from couple to couple differs in actual fact. I know a lot of women would say they do not ever want their husbands to cheat. But the reality is these things happen. And as I said, the reaction from couple to couple differs. There is no one size fits all when your husband cheats on you. Now, this again is not to say that Titi's husband cheated. This is not to say that Titi's husband cheated, because as a matter of fact, we do not know if he cheated or not. What we know for a fact is what Titi has told us, which is she found a lady's underwear in her husband's car. She doesn't say what her husband said when she confronted him. So, again, Titi, if you're listening, please give us some updated information on the status of what happened after you confronted your husband. According to you, you said in your story you were really hurt and you confronted him. We always talk about manner of approach on adult conversations. We always talk about how you relay information, how you get out your emotions and your feelings so that you can communicate right and effectively to the person receiving that information from you. We always talk about manner of approach, but in situations like this, sometimes all reasoning goes out the window when things like this happen. So it's imperative that we understand how Titi confronted her husband and what his reaction was. A lot of that confrontation, a lot of that manner in which she confronted him will largely depend on if this is a recurrent issue, if this is something that has happened before and is happening again, or something that has not happened at all and is happening for the first time. Because just picture this scenario. If Titi has caught her husband cheating before or has suspected her husband of cheating before, and this has happened, let's say once, and this time she finds a lady's underwear in his car. On a lot of levels, the lady's underwear basically supports the suspicion that she's been having. So if she has confronted him with that suspicion the first time and that conversation didn't go well, or it went well and he somehow allayed her fears and made her understand that, oh, this is not happening. This is going on all in your head. I'm not cheating. Everything is fine. And regardless of how that conversation went, whether he talked her down or talked her out of it, or um, whether he actually uh, agreed to the fact that he was cheating or got defensive, whatever happened when she confronted him the first time, if he cheated the first time or if she suspected him of cheating before, would be a prelude to this. Now, at this point, if that has happened, Titi would further be upset at this point because she'd be like, oh, I was suspecting that you were cheating, and now this is evidence that you're cheating. What is happening? Who is this person? Why are you doing this? And all that conversation will happen based on the fact that there has been an incident that has led to this before. But if this is the first time that Titi is even getting any clue or any inkling of the fact that her husband is possibly stepping out on her and of their marriage, then the conversation will possibly take a different turn. Now, what that turn will be is dependent on the kind of person that Titi is, which is why we need to know how she confronted him and what his reaction was. So, Titi, did you confront him? What was his reaction? And how did that conversation go? So let us know and talk to us about it so that we can give you good advice on that. But regardless of whether Titi answers that question or not, one thing is very important, and that's the fact that in her husband's car, she found a lady's underwear. Now, if this were you, what will your reaction be? What will your reaction be? That's one thing that we need to note. And the most important thing right now is that Titi doesn't want a divorce. She just wants to move past this stage of intense hurt that she's feeling right now. Titi doesn't want a divorce. She clearly says that in her story. She doesn't want a divorce, but she definitely wants to move past this stage of hurt that she's feeling. So, how does Titi get to move past this stage of hurt that she's feeling at the moment? Bear in mind, she's pregnant right now with her and her husband's second child. So, what does she do to move past this? The number to call is 07000 917 917. That's the number to call. 07000 917 917. You can send in a text or WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. Wherever you are, if you're listening, you can also comment. You can leave a comment on Facebook. You can leave a comment on WhatsApp. You can also leave a comment on Instagram as regards the story, and we'll definitely read it on the air. So you can send in a text message as well, and your opinion will definitely be read on air. So, what do you think about this, and how can Titi move past this stage of hurt that she's feeling? The level of hurt that Titi is feeling right now will be largely dependent on if this has happened before. If it has not happened at all, if it's literally the first time that Titi is getting any whiff of the possibility that her husband might be cheating on her, then it would be very, very hurtful because nothing would prepare her for this kind of reality. Nothing, absolutely nothing. So she'll be in a very, very dicey situation. She will be in a total and absolute dilemma at this point if this is her first time of encountering this kind of situation. So let us know what you think that Titi can do to move on with her life, to move past this stage of hurt that she's feeling. It's a very, very sad life right now for Titi because she's hurt and she's pregnant. And her husband is potentially cheating on her. Or possibly, that's it, that's the right word, possibly cheating on her. What do you think she should do to move past this level of hurt, to move past this anger, this emotional turmoil that she's going through? The number to call is 07000 917. 07000 917 917. If this has ever been you, if this has ever been your reality at any point in time, whether when you were very young in marriage or whether as you got older in marriage, what I mean is whether you were newly married when this happened or whether you were not a new couple anymore when this happened, regardless of what time into your marriage your husband possibly cheated on you or you suspected he cheated, how did you approach the situation and how did you move past the hurt if he actually cheated on you? Please try to call back. The number to call is 07000 917 917. That's the number to call, 07000 917 917. All right. Now, Titi is in that situation or in that percentage of women that their husbands. Hello, good evening. Hello,
Hello?
good evening.
Good evening. The only thing I want to contribute on this issue is that how Titi and her husband mother relate. She should go and tell her mother-in-law this situation because she's pregnant. That's the only one that can solve her problem for now. I'm calling from Agbado. Thank you.
What is your name, please?
Hello?
What's your name? What's your name, please?
My name is Baba 25 from Agbado.
Thank you very much for calling. Papa 25 is our first caller for the night, and he's saying that Titi should talk to her mother in law because she's pregnant now, and according to him, her mother in law is the only one that can understand how she feels and possibly can influence the situation in any way. Hello, good evening.
Hello?
Good evening. Thank you for calling. What's your name or where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Vicky. I'm calling from West Park right now.
Hello, Ziggy. How are you today?
I'm good. So, I would like to advise my sister Vicky on what she's having in her head. Right now, according to her story, she's just frustrated. You know, she's not happy of what has happened.
Yes. At the moment,
Despite,
all she has seen,
despite that she has in her hand, which is the women underwear,
yes, that she found in
she
his car.
claimed that she found in her husband's car.
She doesn't claim that she found it. She said she found it in her husband's car.
Yeah, it's still a claim.
It's not a claim.
So what she's gonna do right now with it is that to be her advisor. You have seen the exhibit. Calm down. Allow your husband into the house. Whichever meal you make for him, present it to him for him to eat his food, take his bed, and sleep. And sleep off. Maybe in the middle of the night or early in the morning, wake him up. I know it's not going to be easy for her because she's hot, but she will try as much as she can to control her emotions because she has stated something clearly that she does not want a divorce. She does not want to lose her home. So in order for her not to lose her home, allow her husband to calm down. In the middle of the night, wake him up. Say, darling, please, there is something I want us to discuss. Please, I don't want to hurt you, and I don't want you to hurt me. I love you so much. This is what I found in your car. I need an explanation. How come about this? No matter how hardened that man could be, and no matter how wicked he might be, believe you me, he will oblige and tell her whatever the case may be. So if she has said that, let her just tell her husband, listen, I do not want a broken home. I love you and don't cheat on me. Please, I beg of you, you know my condition. I can't do this for you. I can't do this against you in order to cheat on you. Please, I do not want you to cheat on me. Believe you me, let her just got mad about it. Don't worry about it. Don't raise your voice. Don't involve third party as at this moment. It's something both of them have to have talk. When they are done, no matter how the sound side chick attractive, he will suffer down. Believe me, I'm a man.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Mm.
So in part point of view on the safe side, she has to handle it very well.
All right, thank you, Ziggy. Let me just ask you, if he confesses to her that he has cheated on her at that point, what happens then?
There is nothing he can do about it. She can do about it.
Okay, but according to what you just said,
he has cheated. According to he has cheated, and he admitted. The girl should demand an apology. If he apologizes, let her just let go. But she do not want to continue in this very what she's feeling now. She do not want to continue in these conditions. She wants to grow party.
Right.
In order for her to grow party, she has to forgive.
Okay.
And move on.
Final question, Ziggy, before you go.
But let her not trap herself in this condition by keeping quiet. Let her not keep quiet about it. Speak out. So, what is the question, please?
You know what? Don't worry. No. Don't worry. I will ask that question later on in the show. Thank you very much, Ziggy. Thank you for calling.
I'm grateful.
All right, you heard him. Ziggy is saying that in this case, because she's not sure of what the reality is when it comes to the ladies' underwear that she found in his car, she should not make a scene about it. She should just talk to him, welcome him into his home, give him food, bathe him, or draw a bath for him, make him feel good, basically, make him feel welcome. And then, later in the night, she can talk to him, bring it up, and let him know that, oh, I found this in your car, in a really low-key, laid-back approach, without being nagging, without nagging or being confrontational about it. So he says, in this case, he's going to open up to her and tell her what happened. And I asked, in this case, if he actually confesses to cheating on her, what happens? To which Ziggy said, oh, if he confesses, because she really just wants to move on and she wants to move past this stage of hurt that she's feeling, she will need to forgive him. Forgiveness would be the first step, particularly if he's apologetic about it. And if he is, regardless of whatever the side chick is or whoever the side chick is, in Ziggy's words, he will soft pedal. So that's what he thinks. Is that what you think as well? You can send me your messages on 0703 175 6537. Send your text or WhatsApp messages to that number, or you can do to call into the studio 07000 917 917. That's the number to call. Ladies and gentlemen, this is still Adult Conversations on Your Women Radio, WFM 91.7.
Stay connected to the Wi-Fi network for unlimited internet experience that keeps you one step ahead in all your browsing needs. The Wi-Fi network.
Northern Nigeria is home to over 15 million women who are daily faced with difficulties as a result of their gender. Muria Mata, the voice of women, will beam the spotlight on economic empowerment, political involvement, security, development, and overall well-being of women in northern Nigeria. Join Zainab Sulaiman Umar every Wednesday at 2 p.m. on Women Radio WFM 91.7 as she talks on everyday plight of the northern woman. Muria Mata, the voice of women.
I feel that there's some sort of lack of professionalism in this because we're talking about 100 lives.
Government has also put in place a structure to make it look like what they have in mind.
How do we stop crime in the society? Because at the end of the day, if a man cannot provide for his wife anymore, he looks for other means. We should arrest Nigerian folks.
Mondays through Fridays from 9:15 a.m. And WFM 91.7 will bring you ladies from across Nigeria's political zones, dissecting, discussing, and disagreeing on topical issues of the day. You too can join the conversation by tweeting us at WFM917 with the hashtag Panorama. WFM 91.7, the voice of women.
Sunana Maryam Ahmad Rufai kuma zan rika gabatar muku shirin muryar mata. Shirin muryar mata zai rika zo muku ne daga gidan rediyon mata wato Women Radio domin a 91.7 a duk ranar Laraba misali karfe 2 na rana da kuma Liberty Radio mita 103.3 duk ranar Litinin da karfe 9 na dare. Ku kasance da ni Maryam Ahmad Rufai domin tattaunawa akan lamuran da na shafi mata da bangarorin tattalin karfafa arzikin dogarar da kai, sa hannu a siyasa, harkar tsaro da ci gaba da duk lamuran da na shafi mata da yara mata a arewacin Najeriya. Shirin muryar mata zai ci gaba da zo muku ne daga gidan rediyo mata wato Women Radio a mita 91.7 karfe 2 na rana duk ranar Laraba, kuma a Liberty Radio mita 103.3 ranar Litinin karfe 9 na dare. Za ku ji maimaicin shiri ɗin ranakun Lahadi karfe 9:55 na safe. Muryar mata, muryarki, ƙarfinki.
30 minutes to the hour of 10 on your Women Radio WFM 91.7. This is Adult Conversations, and if you're just joining us, welcome. Adult Conversations is where we share real life issues and discuss matters relating to the heart. My name is Somto Titilayo Achama, and tonight we're profiling Titi's story. Titi's 36, she's an accountant, her husband is 40, and he's a talent manager. Titi said she found a lady's underwear in her husband's car. She was really hurt and she confronted him. She makes sure to tell us that she's pregnant with her second child right now, and she just wants to move past this stage of hurt, and she doesn't want a divorce. So, what is your advice to Titi? What should she do? How can she move past this stage of hurt? How can she move past this emotional breakdown that she's feeling right now? What do you think she should do? And how should she go about it in relation to her husband? The number to call is 07000 917 917. That's the number to call. 07000 917 917. You can also send in a text or WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. Titi is married. We don't know for how long because she's not responding to any of our questions, but she is married, and on the way now is their second child. So Titi is pregnant and she doesn't want to get into any unnecessary complications or any unnecessary complicated situation with her husband. And that's why she's saying she just wants to move past this stage of hurt, and she specifically does not want a divorce. So in anything that we're saying today, the advice to be given, please consider the fact that she doesn't want a divorce and she wants to move past this stage of hurt. So she doesn't want to dwell on this. She doesn't want this to linger for too long. She just wants to move past this stage of hurt, and she wants to sustain or retain her marriage. So what is advice to Titi? Have you experienced this before? Has your husband been suspected of cheating, or have you suspected your husband of cheating before? Have you found any evidence that points to the possibility of your husband cheating? If this is your reality, or this was your reality at any point in time? Did you confront him? And what did he say? And how did you move past that level of hurt that you must have felt at the time? It's one thing to suspect your husband cheating, it's another thing to find evidence, so to speak, that points out to the fact that, or that points out to the possibility that he's cheating. So, and I'm saying possibility, I'm using my words very carefully because the fact that Titi found a lady's underwear in her husband's car is just evidence that points to a particular suspicion, not necessarily a fact. Her husband is not cheating for a fact because we do not know specifically at this point. Only Titi and her husband know. As a matter of fact, Titi might not even know if he's cheating, if he's cheated. So it's only her husband that knows the reality of what happened and why there's a lady's underwear in his car. Now, she did say that she confronted him, but we don't know what the result of that was. So, Titi, if you're listening, please let us know what his reaction was. What was his response? How did you confront him, and what was his response when you did? So, if you've been through this before, kindly put a call through and talk to Titi. Titi doesn't know what to do, and that's why she talks. That's why we're here on Adult Conversation. This is our version of advice. This is our version of that forum where we give advice to people, and we hope that they will be able to take a good decision from all the advice that we're given. So tonight, we would like you to give Titi some very good advice. She's in need of this advice because she doesn't know what to do. She's hurt. That's a fact. She also doesn't want to lose her marriage. That's another fact. She also wants to move past this stage of hurt that she's feeling. That's another fact. So, how do we merge all these three facts and give Titi a solution to her current situation? Hello, good evening.
Happy New Year to you, Cynthia, and all Adult Conversation family.
Happy New Year to you too. Please, I hope I'm right, and if I'm wrong, it will so break my heart. Vicky Ben.
Yes, can you give me a second for the new year?
You know what? Shekere, it's small for you. I will drum this one for you. In fact, I'll tell you plenty. I'll tell you because at this point, the fact that I do not even need to think about it too much. They can bet you should award me now. You should have a. I'm just kidding. Happy New Year, Dick and Ben. Good to hear from you. I was gonna call you out. I was going to call. It's not only you. All of you. You know yourselves. Don't worry.
How did you spend your Christmas?
I was a little bit under the weather at the time, actually. So it was a very restful Christmas for me. I just had to recover and take care of myself. How about you?
It was a very nice one, Cynthia.
That
You
sounds
know, we've
good.
been working very, very hard. Every now and then, like talking to the public, talking to members, talking to the world, even family. Things is not easy. But the Lord reward you, okay?
Amen. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Dick and Ben.
Yeah, you be healed and you be strong. 2022, I'm praying that you're going to be one of the best years you've ever experienced in life, okay?
Amen. Thank you so much.
All right. Yes, I listened to the story. I've been following, but I think I like what the lady said. It tells you the kind of heart she has. It tells you the kind of person she is. I want to follow it from that perspective. So, with every one of us can be hurt. That's because we are human. But it's important to realize that when you have a thought, the thought, there are two sides of a thought. If you use it correctly, you're going to use it to, you know, do something to your own advantage. But as the way you handle a thought, it comes back to hurt you, it comes back to destroy you also. So I think this is something very tricky, and I need her to be very, very careful the way she handles it. Especially when we are going into the new year. I need her to have a very clean heart. Okay? I don't know what really transpired.
Hmm.
There is either the man is cheating with the set established. It is also possible that it could be a setup. You can read that out.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen instances where couples who became separate all of a sudden because of one ugly incident, somebody is trying to blackmail, use a kind of emotional blackmail, and look for a means, to find a way to bring trouble for a home, that seemingly have been enjoying themselves. So I want us to explore all these angles and look at it critically before trying to do something that is not aligned with the way she's brought up. Okay? I am not giving any different to it. Whatever I am saying is purely based on assumption.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because I could be wrong and I could be right as well. But all I'm saying, because she has already made up her mind not to have a broken home, that's a very good one. So there's nothing that cannot be forgiven. Just look at it from that perspective.
Mm.
The end is human. To forgive is divine. There's no sin, as far as I'm concerned, that cannot be forgiven. But there's something fundamental that needs to be addressed. And that is, how did the man respond to if actually man was confronted?
Mm-hmm.
What was the man's response? How did he respond to it? Was he remorseful?
Yes.
Or was he like, okay, fine, I've done it. What's going to happen? That's the way to be.
Absolutely. So I'm hoping that Titi gets to answer that question. At least we can get an idea into his reaction when he was confronted. Dickenban, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay. Did you hear what I said?
No, I'm trying to get that feedback from you.
Okay. So you asked what he said, what the husband's response was when he was confronted.
Yes.
And I said, I don't know that at this time. We don't know that at this time because Titi didn't put that in her story. She only said she confronted him. She didn't say what his response was, whether his reaction was right, whether he was remorseful or apologetic. She doesn't say. So I'm saying I'm hoping that she also gives that feedback to us so that we can get some perspective into the situation.
Let them respond to it.
Mm-hmm.
But if we don't forthcoming with it, let them do something with what we have.
Absolutely.
And advise her if it's listening. Don't take it too serious, okay? Let it slide. Especially if you're not too sure of this, because there are people that have acted on impulse. There are people that have acted based on something, an information that is not clearly defined. And at the end of the day, they end up regretting it. So we try not to go to the extreme, okay? So that the unity and the love that has existed with the family, and for the fact that he doesn't want a broken home, let's work to that philosophy.
All
And
right.
I think it's just the way we have.
Thank you very much, Dickenban. Thank you for calling. Happy New Year again.
And you too.
Okay, so Dickenban is saying, and I'm glad that he called, by the way. Dickenban is one of our regulars, has always been one of our regulars, and all of a sudden he just disappeared. But now he has reappeared, so I am glad about that. Thank you for calling, Dickenban. So he's of the point of view that because she doesn't want her marriage to be broken, that is emanating from a place of love, emanating from a place of strong decision, because she really doesn't want her marriage to be broken. So he's saying, following that train of thought, she would be better off not reacting negatively to this, particularly because it could be a setup. It could be a setup. It could be from an external party who wants to break the solidity of their marriage. Somebody who is looking at it and wondering, oh, this couple are such a beautiful couple, and I do not want to see this continue. So they may want to put a stumbling block or something that would make them, that would create a whole, rift between them and might possibly open a whole new can of worms. So that is a possibility that Dickenban is putting out there. So yes, it could be that that a husband is being set up. He also did say that it's important to know what Titi's husband's reaction was, what his response was when he was confronted. This will inform how Titi herself is going to feel. But he says, regardless of whether we know what his reaction was or not, Titi doesn't want her marriage broken. So it's important that because she's not sure of what happened and why he has that lady's underwear in his car, she just needs to let it slide and move on. She needs to let it slide and move on. But if he has been confronted and he was possibly apologetic about it or gave a good explanation for why it was in his car, then again, it will help her move on and just forgive, regardless of the situation. He says, and I quote, there's no sin that can't be forgiven. So, what is your opinion on this? How do you think Titi can move past this level of hurt that she's feeling? She's hurt because her husband had a lady's underwear in his car and she found it. So automatically that raises red flags in any rational thinking woman's mind. And trust me, the last option to cross your mind would be, oh, maybe it was a setup. Maybe somebody put it here to set him up. The first thing would be, is he cheating on me? Is he actually cheating on me right now? And then being that she's pregnant, it puts her in a precarious position. So to avoid any form of complications for herself or her baby, Deacon Ben is advising that she takes it very easy on herself and on the situation when she's addressing it. So what do you think? And how do you think that Titi can do this? 3 facts, as I mentioned. She's pregnant. She is pregnant with her second child at the moment. She doesn't want a divorce, and she wants to move past this stage of hurt that she's feeling right now. So what do you think she can do? Have you experienced this before? What do you think Titi can do to move past this? If you've experienced this, can you share 1 or 2 things that you learned from your experience that Titi can apply to this particular situation that she's in right now with her husband? The number to call is 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. You can also do well to send in a text or WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. Now, this one is coming in from YO from Ikeja. YO says, Happy New Year, Madam Sumto Ajama. Thank you very much, YO, and Happy New Year to you too. Madam Titi, she says, life happens. Life happens. First, when you confronted him, did he confess that something happened? If he did, was he a habitual cheat, or did that just stop? If there has been a consistent pattern, but you never noticed, I think you both need honest conversation. Even if it was just a one-night stand or just a one-off, there's still a need for both of you to sit down and discuss causes. If he truly acknowledges and you can see remorse and a willingness to live a clean life, please do forgive. If it requires taking some time off the house, go for a week or 2 holiday just to heal. Please do that. But if you notice that this has been going on steadily but you never noticed, pray or take a break from sex with him or learn to protect yourself. If at the end you both feel the need to see a therapist, please do go. But if all fails, take the best action that you'll be able to stand by at the long run. And that's from YO from Ikeja. See, that advice coming in from YO is filled with layers. It's filled with layers. And I will go back to that message and point out some of these layers. It's imperative that we approach this situation from where Titi wants us to approach it from. As much as we're giving advice, as much as we have opinions on this subject, Titi does not want a divorce. So we need to be respectful of that particular point of view that Titi holds. So as we're giving advice, please, we do not want to hear anything that has to do with separation or a divorce, because that is not what she wants. So how does she overcome this and still sustain her marriage? What do you think she can do? This one is coming in from Gabriel Sampson from K2, who says, good evening, everyone in Adult Conversations family. That's the society we find ourselves in. For the issue at hand this evening, I would like you to handle the matter very well and with care. I would like you to ask him these questions. Was this the first time you caught him in this act with another lady? Or does this used to happen before now? If not, are you sure it has not been planted by someone else in order to destroy your marriage? Again, we need to know your husband's response to your confrontation. Nevertheless, I would still advise you to allow God to fight for you with prayers and fasting for him, because the devil doesn't like seeing people happily married. I pray God sees you through. And that's coming from Gabriel Sampson from Kitson. So, what is your advice at this moment to Titi? What do you think she can do? And how do you think she can go about it? When you call in, please ensure that you turn down the volume of your radio and ensure that you go straight to the point while giving your advice. The number to call is 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. That's the number to call. So ensure that you be considerate and be respectful of the fact that Titi does not want a divorce. Now, the fact that this could be a setup is something that is a harsh reality to accept, or a hard reality to accept. One would think, oh, he cheated, or he's cheating, or at least he had a one-night stand. Those would be any rational person's first assumption, particularly if the marriage has suffered some curveballs here and there, particularly in the area of cheating, of infidelity, or if they have trust issues already. Again, we don't know how long they've been married for, so we don't know we cannot really gauge the state of things with their marriage. We don't know how long they've been married for. We don't know how good of a marriage they've had so far. Now, if everything has been good, your husband is faithful, or at least your husband is good to you, he's loyal, he's there for you, he's a present father, he's a hardworking husband, he provides for you, he shows you love, gives you attention, he's there for you when you need him. If he is an amazing husband and an amazing father, and you're seeing this in his car for the first time, chances are that your reaction would be born out of a lot of shock to even begin with. But then again, this is relative to the kind of person that it is, so we really don't know. But you said you were hurt and you confronted him. The fact that we do not know what the outcome of that confrontation was is a huge limitation to this entire episode tonight. And the reason is simple. If Titi's husband was on the defensive when he was being confronted, and he was basically gaslighting her, he wasn't acknowledging that something like that happened, he wasn't acknowledging the gravity of what happened, and he was just making her feel like everything is in her head and not necessarily owning up to what happened and giving her any kind of explanation for it. If he was just on the defensive and that's it, then that's worrisome. That's worrisome. If he replied and was of the opinion that he possibly didn't know how it got there, and that there would be an alternate reason somewhere in this world that underwear got to his car, and he's specifically saying that he didn't cheat, that's a whole different situation as well. And then if he responds and says, oh, what are you doing in my car? Why are you checking my car? Where did you find this? And it grows into this whole argument back and forth, then there's a whole other issue. And then if he owns up to it and gives some kind of explanation as to how it got there. Now, Titi's reaction to that explanation is what would determine how, again, that conversation goes. Then, worst case scenario, if he confesses to cheating, that also is a whole different ballgame as well. So all these different situations are scenarios that could have happened when he was confronted. But we don't want to keep assuming because we don't know for a fact. But I guess at this moment, we have to make do with the story that has been given to us. And all she says was she confronted him. We don't know what his reaction was. So let's just make do with that. The fact that she spoke up. The fact that she spoke up is a good thing. And because she's pregnant, these kind of things are hard to deal with. You know, as a woman, pregnancy is that stage where you can feel anything at any point in time. Things that probably used to calm you down might be the things that will rile you up. Things that used to rile you up might be the things that will calm you down. You might develop a very laid back, indifferent approach to life generally. And at the same time, you could be obsessive compulsive about certain issues, about yourself, about your body, about your environment. It could be anything really. So we do not know how Titi confronted him, and we do not know what his reaction to being confronted was. What we do know is that Titi wants to move past this stage of hurt. We know that she found a lady's underwear in his car, and she is hurt. So we know that for a fact as well. We also know that she doesn't want a divorce. And we also know that she wants to move past this level of emotional hurt that she's going through. So what do you think she can do? The number to call is 07000 917 917. That's the number to call. 07000 917 917. Do have to pick up the phone and put a call through if this has been you before. And this is regardless of if you're a man or a woman. I know Titi is a woman, so a lot of our advice will be focused on that. But sometimes men go through this kind of things too, in from the woman point of view, so to speak. So this level of betrayal can go both ways. It can happen to a man, it can happen to a woman. So if you're a man and you've been through this in your marriage, you've been through a phase of betrayal, a phase where there were lots of trust issues, a phase where possibly there was a suspicion of your wife or girlfriend cheating on you, and or there was the certainty of the fact that she cheated on you. Maybe she actually did cheat on you. How did you overcome the hurt? What happened? I'd like to focus on marriages now because Titi is married, and the stakes are different when you're married. They're completely different. So, how did you face this situation? How did you move past this? Was this something that lingered on for a while, or was this something that was quickly dealt with and moved on from? So, if it was quickly dealt with and moved on from, let us know so that Titi can find a way to quickly deal with this and possibly move on as well. If this is something that lingered on for a while, or that lingered for a while before it was finally addressed, let us know so that we can get the lessons that we need to learn from this. This is Adult Conversations where we share real life issues and discuss matters relating to the heart. It's 13 minutes past the hour of 10 on Your Women Radio WFM 91.7. So Titi is in a very tricky position at the moment, and it will be awesome for her to hear from you. The number to call again is 07000 917 917. That's the number to call. You can send in a text or WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. Text messages are coming in, and this one is coming. Okay, let me go back. This one is coming in from. Okay, pardon me. All right. So this one is coming in from Emmanuel from Festac. Emmanuel says, "Good evening, Ma. I love your show. Thank you very much, Emmanuel. This case here is a very complex one. Well, I'll advise Titi to have a serious, calm conversation with her husband. Ask him how the underwear got into his car, and if he confesses to having an affair, she needs to ask him where and how she would have gone wrong so she can make up in those areas. The calm conversation in this case can lead them to whoever planted the underwear in his car, if his hands are clean, or expose him if he is guilty. Also, Titi needs to be very careful because of her pregnant condition. Whatever she finds out at the end of the day, what she should focus on more at this point should be her unborn baby. See, as much as this is very, very good advice, the part where she asks him where she went wrong if he confesses to cheating, that's the part that sometimes is a hard pill for me to swallow, because we have this perception that when a man cheats, it's dependent on something that his wife has done. Now, the sad reality is it is dependent on what his wife has done sometimes. That's the emphasis here. Sometimes, definitely not all the time. I do not know how many percentage of the time it is, but to a large extent, if a man wants to cheat, he would cheat regardless of if his home is completely peaceful and completely happy or not. In the same vein, if a man's home is tumultuous and just hard to live in, if he chooses not to cheat, he's still going to not cheat at the end of the day. So the part about Titi asking him where she did wrong, if he confesses to actually cheating, is just, that's a hard line for me to swallow. That's a hard pill for me to swallow. But thank you very much, Imano. Thank you for calling. YO adds that there is nowhere said she should divorce. She can take action. She should take action where she can stand by at the long run. One of such is the stance that she has reached. Of course, you didn't say anything about a divorce. I don't know why you're mentioning that again. But yes, you didn't say anything about a divorce. And I definitely do not refer to the fact that you said anything about a divorce. Because it's clear that Titi doesn't want one. She doesn't want a divorce. She doesn't want to lose her marriage. She doesn't want a broken home. Now, there's a child in question here. There's a child already that is in the middle, that is caught in the middle of all this, and there's another child on the way who will also be caught in the middle of all this if it's not rectified and addressed and dealt with before the baby comes. We don't know how far along Titi is, and if she's really far along and close to delivering, then it might be hard to rock the boat at this point. But it's also imperative that Titi's consideration and Titi's opinion of not wanting to lose a home is respected. That desire has to be completely respected. So when we give advice, please let's try to stay away from the subject of divorce, because Titi is not thinking about that, and she does not want a divorce from her husband. So if it has been you before, please put the call through. It's imperative that that Titi has that Titi feels supported. It's imperative that she feels understood. And if somebody who is out there that has had this experience before, then that person would definitely help Titi by giving us some good advice on how they overcame this situation when it happened to them. So, share with me what you think Titi can do. How do you think she can approach this? What do you think can be done from Titi's point of view to address the situation, but at the same time not risk losing her marriage? So, how do you think she can do it? And what do you think that she should do? WhatsApp messages have come in earlier, and we've received schools of thought that basically say that Titi should let it slide. That she should let it slide, and she should not make a big deal about it, particularly because she doesn't know what happened and how the underwear got to her car. So Titi is in that situation and she needs the advice. She needs the advice. Whether or not you're with somebody who cheated on you before, if you're still with them, that is up to each individual to choose the path of life that they want. We don't know if we don't know if her husband was set up, and we don't know if he actually did it, if he actually cheated, if he had a one night stand or he's been cheating. We don't know how happy their marriage has been in times past, and we do not know what their marriage is right now. So the context of conversation is determined or is being the context of conversation for the program today basically needs to be addressed from a place of understanding, maturity, and respect for the fact that Titi does not want to leave her husband. She doesn't want to divorce. So, what happens at this point? If this has been your crossroad before, if this has been that part where you looked back at your entire marriage and you wondered, how did we get here? Why is this happening? You know, if this has been your reality before, send in a text or a WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. You can also listen live via the stream link www.wfm917. And above all, you can call into the studio, pardon me. You can call into the studio. You can talk to Titi personally. So 07000 917 917. That's the number to call. 07000 917 917. You can also send in a text, a message, or a WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. Okay, so going on Facebook now, we have some messages popping, and this one is coming in from Stella Amateur. Stella says, "My sister Titi, I'm happy that you don't want to divorce. Sister, divorce is not the best option. So forgive him and forget. Remember you're carrying a baby. Remember you're carrying a baby. This issue should not bother you. Just be guided." Okay. Nkem Linda Okori says, "Stop thinking about it. Stop picturing or imagining him with another. Don't monitor him. Like you said, you don't want a divorce. That means you want it to really work. Truly, the heart takes time to heal, but you just have to let that go by forgiving him and also praying for him." Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Hello, good evening. Please turn down the volume of your radio.
Good.
Much better. Thank you very much for calling. How are you doing today? Okay, if you can, please call back. Or you can do well to send in a text or a WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. That's the number to send in your text or WhatsApp messages to. Okay. So Oluwatomiwa Moses says, "You just need to forgive him and also pray for him. You just need to forgive him and also pray for him." So thank you very much for the messages on Facebook. Please keep them coming. Keep your messages on WhatsApp coming as well. Also understand that that this is a tricky situation right now, and Titi is definitely in need of some good advice. So what do you think she should do? How do you think she should approach this? Remember, she says, "I don't want to lose my marriage. I don't want a divorce." So how does she move on? How does she move on? Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you very much for calling. What's your name?
My name is Silas. I'm calling from Maboro.
Okay. Silas from Agoro. How are you?
Concerning this evening issue, I think the woman she has to forgive her husband so that she will be praying for him in the changed.
Okay, so Silas, what are you saying specifically?
I say let her forgive her husband and pray for him.
Should she
His wife.
Yes.
If want to, she thinks that the divorce is the solution.
Mm-hmm. So what I want to ask, you said she should forgive him and she should pray about it and she should move on, right?
Yes.
So what I want to ask
pray
is
about it so that God can touch his mind so that you address how she will be living his life. So should not catch him cheating on her or
All right, noted. What I wanted to ask is if um if Titi calms down and she doesn't make a big deal out of this, do you think she should be
yes.
do you think she should observe her husband more to know what really happened or to clear away all suspicions from her heart?
And yes, you will just be prayerful for him.
It's
Like,
just a
there is
prayer.
nothing God cannot do. So
Okay.
everything is come to pass. If you pray, God and thought in mind, he will be take care with her and he will be continue their marriage.
Okay. Thank you very much, Silas. Thank you for calling. Okay. So the basic point of Silas's phone call, and this is where his heart was. He said she should just forgive him and move on. She should just forgive him and move on because she doesn't want to lose her marriage. So she has confronted him. She said she was hurt and she confronted him. But now Salah says, just forgive him. Just forgive him and move on. So is this a just forgive him and move on situation as well? Forgiving him and moving on, will that really do what Titi wants, which is to move on from the hurt? So it's not just moving on like nothing happened. It's moving on from the pain of seeing that lady's underwear in her car, in her husband's car. So what do you think she should do? And how do you think she should do it? What do you think? Call the number 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. That's the number to call. If you want to send in a text message or you want to send in a WhatsApp message, you can do that to 0703 175 6537. Okay, so Emmanuel from Festac is saying, how does she move on? After forgiving and praying for him, she needs to channel her energy on important things that can occupy her mind and make her happy, because dwelling on the matter will keep taking her to a depressive state. Hello, good evening. Hello, are you there?
Hello? Hello?
Yes, good evening. How are you today? What's your name?
My name is Rose.
Hello, Rose. How are you today? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
You're calling from where?
Ogun State, Ogun State.
Where in Ogun State, Rose?
Onakutu.
Okay, fantastic. All right, Rose, are you a
Yeah.
first-time caller? Are you calling for the first time?
Hello?
Are you calling for the first time?
Yes, this is my first time calling.
Thank you. Okay, Rose, talk to me about what your advice to Titi is. What do you advise her to do?
For me, I would say if you call her husband and just have the first conversation with him by asking him for forgiveness. So please forgive me if I have offended you. So in that manner, the man will feel remorse of everything and living with it with her. You understand me?
Okay.
Because
Absolutely.
thinking about it is giving ourselves tension. And secondly, starting to monitor the husband is not ideal. We should just leave it. Because there was at a time the man will come to his senses if really it is true. Are you getting me? Hello?
I'm listening to you.
If really it is true, the man will come to his senses and say, why does this woman not monitoring me or this? He will come back to himself. If it is true, if it is not a case, he will know how much love you have for the husband.
Okay. Thank you very much, Rose. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I want to tell
her. Okay. Thank you so much. Rose's opinion is very valid, and she's saying that she can't be a monitoring spirit. She cannot be the kind of wife that starts monitoring all his activities. She should just be She should just calm down. She should pray about it. She should forgive him, and she should talk to him about it. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening.
Hello,
Good evening. Thank you for calling.
good evening.
Good evening. What is your name and where are you calling from, please?
This is Benjamin.
Benjamin from Agbado.
Yeah, happy New Year. Until soon, too.
Happy New Year to you too, Benjamin. How are you feeling today?
What I want to say is, if someone is, what is the name of his job again, talent manager.
Yes, he's a talent manager.
For him to cheat, the ratio is so high, it's 50 to 100. And there are a lot of ladies
Benjamin,
who have talent.
who gave you that statistics?
Who want
Saying
to
there are
pick
plenty
up.
ladies who have talent.
The ratio is high.
Okay, I
Yeah.
understand that. I completely understand what you mean.
If you born again, the truth is that we can give you
Okay,
when pressure comes in, and when the pressure comes knocking in. So the tendency for you to cheat is there. Is there. That's the truth.
okay,
Yeah, let us take it on the other side. How about maybe somebody doesn't like the man or doesn't like their wedding or their marriage and wants to blackmail him and he plans that evidence there just to destroy or discredit the man. It can be all, it can that one too.
hmm.
So what I will tell the woman is this. She said that the child is forthcoming, she should please calm herself down. Call the man, question him, and let her see his respect. If the man, starts to get it,
Mm-hmm.
what she should just read his countenance and his body language.
Hmm.
That's what she should focus on. When you start to get it, that means that truth. You do the village deny it, and you forget it. But that's the truth.
Okay,
Then, if he started to make mountain out of a movie out of it. You see, this one, he started complaining and making trouble.
mm-hmm.
He did it. So he just read his countenance and his in the body language. When he's lying, he's lying. But if he did do it, he will be so clear and he will tell her how
Okay.
that part got into his car.
All right. So let's fast forward.
That she should please take it easy and question the man. And she should not make trouble out of it. She just question him. That's all.
Okay, but the only question now that is hanging somewhere in the air is if she confronts him and her worst fears are realized. Because the worst case scenario here is that he cheated. That's the worst case scenario. So if he cheated and he confesses to that cheating to her, okay, thank you very much, Benjamin. Um, if he cheated and he confesses to cheating, it would further um, intensify the hurt that she feels already. So she feels hurt that she found the lady's underwear in his car. If they talk about it and they have a civil conversation and everything goes well in the sense that, he doesn't get defensive, he just explains what happened, and the explanation is tenable, she can understand it, or even if they get into a fight, but it's not anything major because probably he didn't cheat and he's wondering, oh, so you don't even trust me, you don't think it can be a setup, it could be anything. They could get into an argument over the fact that she doesn't even trust him. So it could be anything really. That conversation can play out anyway. But the worst case scenario would be that he confesses to cheating. In the middle of conversation, you can just be like, what if I cheated? What if I cheated? What are you going to do about it? And you know what? I actually cheated. Okay. Now, since you're asking me and asking me and asking me, I cheated. I'm sorry about it, but it happened. What now happens? Because if she's hurt just by finding these women's panties in her husband's car, then she would be further hurt if he confesses to cheating. Now, how does she move past this? Two things. She's asking how does she move past this level of hurt that she feels. So if she talks to him and everything is smoothened, everything he talks her out of, thinking that thinking that he's cheating, the conversation goes well, everything's okay. So basically all the hurt dissipates in the course of conversation because he basically makes her see that, oh, I'm not cheating. This must be a setup. I don't know how this happened. Somebody probably borrowed my car and had a whole fling in it and didn't clean it up or didn't clear some things from it. And now this is happening and that's making you suspect that I'm cheating, So he could talk her down from the horse of, oh, my husband is cheating. And at the end of the day, all the hurts that she's feeling just completely evaporates and she moves on because he lets her understand that he wasn't cheating. Now, the worst case scenario would be he confesses to cheating and it becomes a whole deal. So if he confesses to cheating, how does she move past that level of hurt? So what do we think? What is your opinion on this? Have you been through this before? Have you been in this situation where you suspected your husband of cheating and you confronted him, regardless of what the outcome of the confrontation was? How did you move past it? How did you move past that level of hurt? How did you just move on? How did you just move on? I think the only way to say it is move on. How did you move on? What did you do and how did you do it? Now let's bear in mind that Titi is pregnant. She's pregnant, so anything at this point can be a ticking time bomb when it comes to the pregnancy. We don't know how the pregnancy is going so far. All she said is that she is pregnant with a second child on the way. Pregnancies are different. They're different and they're a whole journey. So we don't know if her pregnancy is one that needs to be very, very closely monitored so that she doesn't hurt herself or the baby. We don't know the state of the pregnancy. Not everybody's pregnancy is smooth and complication free and all of that. We don't know how the pregnancy is going for Titi. So that needs to be considered. Another thing that needs to be considered is the fact that she doesn't want a divorce. So as we give advice, let's remember these things. Let's remember these things. The number still to call is 07000 917 917. The time is 22 minutes to 11 on your Women Radio WFM 91.7. And it will be so good for Titi to hear advice directly from you. So please keep the messages coming in on Facebook, keep them coming in on WhatsApp, keep them coming in via text messaging, and also Instagram as well. So you can also do well to call into the studio on 07000 917 917. That's the number to call. 07000 917 917. I don't think anybody ever wants to be in that situation where they don't know what's happening, where they don't know the situation of things. If Titi and her husband had a beautiful marriage before this and everything was fine, then it wouldn't be too far-fetched to think that somebody wants to break up their union. It would not be completely out of the blue for that thought to cross one's mind. But a lot of it is still dependent on what she said or what her husband said when he was confronted. See, that feedback can make or mar the entire situation and the outcomes. So what do you think Titi can do to overcome this stage of hurt that she's feeling? Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening. This is Mama
Mama Kings, how are you today?
Good evening. How's everything?
Everything is fine. Thank you so much for calling.
Okay. So, my advice is to you.
Okay.
Well, my own advice for Titi is she should just need to forget about things, you understand, and calm down, take God, and try to forgive your husband, forgive him, you understand. Number one, because if you ask him, the craziest thing for me to tell you the truth, if he tell you the truth, what will you do? I need to lie to you at the same time, what will you do? You understand?
Mommy Kings, please
Well,
go on. I'm listening.
you cannot do anything. So therefore, I want you to really understand that marriage is just a learning ground. Every day is a school. So that cannot graduate. But after every day you keep on learning and learning and learning. What if you know your husband's girlfriend? What will you do? Will you go and meet that girl? Or will you go and meet the people? You understand? So that the questions are showing a lot of people, most of my friends. You know your husband's girlfriend, and yes, you cannot go and meet find the person. So in this situation, you do not know the person. So fine, if you can approach your husband, yeah, I saw this thing in your car, why is this about, why do you go to whatever he tell you, if you feel you are mature enough to take whatever he's going to tell you, fine. But if you feel you are not mature enough to take anything that's wrong,
I think she successfully passed her message. She's basically saying marriage is a school that no one can graduate from. And in this situation, Titi is at that point where there's practically nothing she can do except to forgive him and move on. She's saying a lot of situations are worse in the sense that some wives actually know their husband's girlfriends or their husband's side chicks, like we like to call it. And they can't do anything about it. Even their husbands know that they know. And there's literally nothing that they can do about it. So she's saying that you just need to pray about it and you need to forgive. You need to forgive him. You need to be mature about it. Now, this is what I was going to ask Ziggy when he called earlier. A lot of this forgive him situation that we're talking about. Is this the same advice that will be given to a man if it was a man that found maybe a guy's boxers in his wife's car? Are we just going to say, oh, you don't want a divorce, just forgive your wife and move on? Is that what we're going to say? If that's exactly what we're going to say to a man, if this happens to him, then that's fine. But if we're not going to say this and we're saying this because she's a woman, she wants to preserve her home, then that is a really sad double standard. It's a really sad double standard, but it doesn't change the fact that that is how you must feel. But that's how anyone feels. So, being in this situation is very dicey for Titi. It's very dicey. Every day she's possibly thinking about the whole thing and not even knowing what to do about it. Not really knowing what to do about it. So from the outside things might look good, but on the inside, Titi might be going through it with her husband right now because of this ladies' underwear matter. So what do we think can be done? What do we think Titi can do? Is there any people she can talk to? Are there any places that she can go? Is there a specific way that she can talk to her husband about it without it blowing up into a whole big deal? What can be done at this point to help Titi overcome the kind of hurt that she's feeling right now? So what do you think? The number to call is 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. You can also send in a text or WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. So, what do we do? What does Titi do at this point? What does she do? What would you do if this were you? And if this was you at a certain point, then that's fine. But I will need you to give Titi some advice. If this was you at any point in time, that's perfectly fine. I'll just need you to give Titi some great advice on how to actually navigate the situation. How to navigate the situation. What should she do? She's saying, I do not want to lose my marriage. I don't want a divorce, but I'm hurt. So what do I do? How can I move past this stage of hurt? What can be done? What do you think she can do? Is bringing a third party into this situation advisable? All right. So, what do you think can be done at this point? The number to call is 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. Remember that we're live on Facebook and YouTube. We're live on Facebook and YouTube, so you can always connect and leave your questions or comments there. What do you think Titi should do at this point? This is 14 minutes to 11, and that means that we're rounding off for those conversations very soon. But I'd like to take 2 more calls before I go. I'd like to take 2 more calls. So if you want to talk about what you think that Titi can do, put a call through and give her some advice. Hello, good evening. Hello? Try to call back if you can. Try to call back if you can. Now, nobody wants to be in a situation where they don't know what to do, but they cannot come out of it. There's a poem that an excerpt of it goes, returning is not possible, and going forward is a great difficulty. Returning is not possible, and going forward is a great difficulty. Why do I mention this? I mention this because it's clear that Titi doesn't want a divorce. She doesn't want to leave her husband. She doesn't want to be separated from him. She wants their home to stay intact. But at the same time, she wants to be sure that her husband is loyal and faithful to just her. So it's a very, very, very difficult situation right now. And the advice is very much needed. The advice is very much needed. 07000 917 917 is the number to call to give Titi some advice. 07000 917 917. 07000 917 917. You can send in texts or WhatsApp messages to 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. On Facebook, at WFM917 is our handle. At WFM917. So you can go there, leave your comment, and hopefully we'll see it and we'll get back to you. So, what are your thoughts about this? What do you think that Titi can do? What do you think she can do? Is there anything you think she can do that can fast forward this hurt that she feels right now? It's one thing to be able to feel like you're in the right place, like everything is okay. But when you have a baby on the way and you find a piece of underwear in your husband's car, that tilts the balance of everything over. It just tilts the balance of everything, and then most of the time you really don't know what to do. And that's why we're here on Adult Conversations, because sometimes we really don't know what to do. So just keep your mind open when you're giving advice. Please keep your mind open when you're giving advice, so that we do not box anyone into a corner or make them feel any type of way. So if this has been you before, as we round off, if this has been you before, what happened, and did you reconnect with your partner? How did you overcome it? How did you overcome it, basically? Talk to us. 07000 917 917. That's the number to call. You can send in a text or a WhatsApp message on 0703 175 6537. 0703 175 6537. You can call in on 07000 917 okay. Now I can take one more call before I go tonight, and that will be our last call for adult conversations tonight. So, wherever you are, thank you very much, and for sending in your messages and opinions and advice. Extremely important, and definitely this is the basic point of adult conversations. So, if we can't give good advice, we cannot assist with bettering the quality of somebody's life just by a piece of advice, then what are you doing right now? All right, so send in a text or WhatsApp message to 0703 175 6537. Call in 07000 917 917. Please call back if you can. Call back if you can. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
Good evening. Thank you for calling. What's your name?
Good evening.
What is your name or where are you calling from, please?
Hello.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, my name is Osichuku.
Osichuku. Where are you calling from, please?
Yeah, I'm calling from Ijegun.
From where?
From Ijegun.
Ijegun. All right.
Yeah.
So,
what I have to say about this is that let her ask the husband, because if she starts taking, when she starts being easy or putting money to demand, then she goes for it. So it's left for her to open up and ask him out politely. And then that will give her the limelight to know what is happening in her marriage.
Okay.
Hello?
I'm with you. You said she should talk to him. She should bring it up with her husband politely.
Because if she keeps it to herself, it's going to be hurting her the more. Very, very. It's hurting her the more. So she just open up and ask the man straight ahead. So if the man has anything to say to her, then she will know.
All right. Thank you very much for calling.
This is the first time caller.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us in Adult Conversations. And that's our final call today on Adult Conversations. Thank you very much to everyone who has called, to everyone who has lent in their voice and their advice to Titi's story tonight. I want to thank you and I appreciate you for your messages, your contributions every single step of the way. I'm sure that Titi will be able to take an informed decision from the advice that you have given tonight. On behalf of Titi, I say thank you again, and I hope you join me tomorrow on Your Women Radio WFM 91.7 for Adult Conversations. Thank you to my producer, Taiwo Adeleye, the engineer on GT, and my name is Sumto Titilayo Ajama. Have a peaceful night.
Sometimes hurts, but it's over now. Cause when you are around, everything just works. Baby, when you hear the shoulder and the shoulder, even when it's getting cold, I'll keep you warm. You don't really know how much that you mean to me. We'll be together this time forever. No matter the weather, this time forever. We'll be together this time forever. No matter the weather, this time forever. to try to sweep me off my feet.
When I'm having a bad day, you're making me smile. You know how you make me feel like you're fun. If there was any time I hurt you, girl, you know that I'm sorry.
Baby, when you need a shoulder, I'm your shoulder. Even when it's getting cold, I'll keep you warm. You don't really know how much that you mean to me. We'll be together this time forever. No matter the weather, this time forever.
Yo, after weeping a day, after the ring in the cake, after the pastor says grace, after we move your last few boxes of things to one place in the first 5 years, that's how it's kids. Gonna need space, move to a new crib. Sometimes I gotta travel to do gigs and make money so we can save the school fees in the next few years, so 10 years together. I know the early days harsh weather, but the wind calls, baby girl, I'll be the umbrella. Nobody could love